Incoming transmission.
And welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to another week, another edition, another season here of the GSL. The GSL 2026 Season 2, Round of 12, Group A. I'm, of course, VIP with him, joined by these amazing players and by the people in the chat as well. And, of course, by our main casters that they do make a brief appearance here. Both States and Texas, of course, covering the mainstream. We're here with our side stream. Let's go, baby. Let's go. We are here. We are back. Of course, right after the GSL Season 1 finals, back to back. That's my one big criticism about GSL this season or this year is that it is so condensed. We literally just had the finals of GSL Season 1 over the weekend, and then bam, Season 2. And we even held the qualifiers of Season 2 last week before Season 1 had even concluded. So it's a very jam-packed. It's quite intense. It's a quite an intense schedule here. And I don't know why we're rushing. Where do we have to be, Pat? Where do we have to go? Yeah, so we're just rushing to crank out these GSLs. That is my one big criticism. But for those who are unaware, for those who maybe did not watch, we of course did cast the English qualifiers on our stream. We were the only English casters, by the way. We were the only English casters, so it's all there. It is all available on our YouTube channel, and of course over on our other platforms, over here on Soup as well. So VODs are available, but again, we did of course cast it live here on Soup. Did cast it live on Soup as always. Now we're here live with GSL Season 2 as well here on Soup as well. The qualifiers are quite intense, and we did actually have some players leave us this season, other players join us. Trigger, for example, is not going to be a part of this season of GSL, but who is, when it comes to the foreigners at least, Clem. Now, Clem is not in Korea. I should mention that ahead of time here. The reason why Clem is a part of this tournament is because if you are part of the GSL Season 2 qualifier broadcast, you would know that we did announce that rules had changed for this season, and GSL have now opened it up to an international stage. Now, you could have been outside of Korea to play in the qualifiers. The only requisite though is you have to be willing to travel and to fly and pay for in flight to go to Korea for the playoffs, for those playoffs. So we had players like, I want to say Young Yakov alongside Cristiano, Geralt, Rainer as well, Clem, Trigger, and other foreign players did actually compete in the qualifiers as well this season. So it's great to see, and Clem is a part of it. Clem is going to be a part of it. Meanwhile, if you want to help support the event, you can do so via Patreon. You can see here the total support that we've been getting so far, $7,395 so far, and the next stretch goal for Season 3 of GSL is at 10K. We're almost there. So you want to help support Korean StarCraft and GSL, and not even just Korean StarCraft anymore, but StarCraft in general, because it has opened up to the international audience and international players, that you can do so via patreon.com/GSL. So do check it out, do support it. Meanwhile, we do have our current maps and our current players here tonight. So as you can see, we have the top 4 qualified directly into the round of 8. That is Maru, Hero, Clem, and Rogue. Those are the top 4 players that are already seeded directly into the next round. Meanwhile, for today and for this week, we do have the round of 12. The round of 12 to determine who will advance on into the round of 8. Oh boy, we have our group of 4, and here they are. So tonight we have Group A, tomorrow we have Group B, we have Cure, SOS, Beyond, and Shin in the first group. We have Classic, Solar, Zan, and Gumiho for Group B. When it comes to players we had gained and lost, I did mention that Clem is a newcomer here to this season of GSL alongside SOS and Gumiho. It's Clem, SOS, and Gumiho that have joined us. Who did we lose to make that happen? We lost Trigger, we lost Bunny, and we lost Percival. So we lost Trigger, Bunny, Percival, and they were replaced by SOS, Gumiho, and Clem. Those were the big changes based on the qualifiers this season. The others were here last season as well. And here we go, we have our group. So we're getting Cure, Beyond, SOS, Shin, 2 Terrans, 1 Protoss, 1 Zerg. They do enter the fray. 2 will be eliminated, 2 will advance on into the round of 8. Oh boy, here we go. It is going to be, of course, a 4-player GSL group where our initial 2 matchups face off head-to-head into winners match, elimination match, and then decider match. Now we have our first player, Cure. That didn't translate. No, they didn't translate his quotes, but here we go. We have Cure. His most recent performances, of course, came second in GSL Season 1 of 2025, going to the round of 12 for Season 2, and of course the round of 4 for the last season, GSL Season 1 of this year. Had a lackluster performance when it came to DreamHack Dallas, of course, and at EWC came in third place, did defeat Maru at EWC, and also defeated Maru in last season of GSL as well, which is a couple of weeks ago. So again, Cure, his TvT has been on point. Did it give us a code? Oh, this one has been translated, as we then have SOS. The SOS, papi. Again, a newcomer to this year's GSL. He got round of 12 in Season 1 of 2025. He had a lackluster performance in DreamHack Dallas, and of course, did make it to the top 18 in RSL. SOS hasn't had the best performance or record in recent times, but he's looking to try to break that and try to make up for that. I'm going to go Night Football after the win today. I'll go even if I lose as a refresher. There you go. Go play some football, papi. Vámonos, papi, vámonos. SOS. Here we go. We have our initial matchup. It is going to be that best of 3 TvP. Game 1, Ruby Rock. Game 2, Winter Madness. Game 3, Tourmaline. Curious about the vetoes here. SOS, he got rid of one of the smaller maps in 10,000 feet, got rid of the RNG map in Mothership, and got rid of one of the larger maps in White Rabbit. I'm curious to see how SOS is playing at the moment. So what I mean by that is that SOS, as I mentioned before, he has been back for quite some time, but he's still been kind of finding his footing. I would say he's on the lower end of Protoss in the Korean region, below Zaun, below Hero, Classic, below Nightmare, but he has recently been spiking up, and show us what you got. Spawning in the bottom right hand corner of Ruby Rock, we have the South Korean Terran player for Team Liquid. It is Kiro. And top left hand corner, we have for Protoss, the South Korean Protoss player for Streamers, it is SOS. Jesus. They're so quick to move away. They give us no time, papi. Yeah. But here we go. We are jumping into our initial best of 3. Gonna be jumping on in. So far so good here. We do have our initial openers, nothing crazy, nothing wild. Now I know that SOS, he has a reputation of being a hyper cheesy, hyper aggressive player. That is true, but in his return, in SOS's recent return in recent years, that has not been the case. He's still aggressive, but everyone is in PvP. In the other matchups, he plays more standard. At least that's what I've observed in recent years. Now, once again, SOS has been MIA this year. This year, he's been missing in action. So we'll see how he's been able to redefine himself, how he's able to approach this season, this matchup, and how he's looking in current times, as we haven't really seen him in quite some time. It's been a couple of months. It's been a couple of months. Here's the head-to-head and offline record here in favor of SOS, but I believe that the SV got stuck. Not like this. But I believe that is due to the historical record between them, of course. And then we have the online head-to-head also in favor of SOS. But again, I feel like a lot of those wins were in SOS's prime, less so in recent years. So I think that head-to-head record is a little bit deceiving. Meanwhile, speaking of doing something weird, SOS does expand at the unnatural location unprompted. Usually this is done and forced out by an eBay block, but here SOS willingly goes for the unnatural natural. Now, the goal here should be to mind game. The goal here is that Cure, he scouts across the map, he sees that there's no base, and then Cure overreacts. That is the hope. If Cure doesn't overreact, if Cure figures out what's going on earlier, then Cure can punish. So this is a big risk here for SOS. As Cure moves in, no expand. Cure does poke into natural. Again, shelling with the mineral line, disrupting some of the mining. Safety bunker back at home. It looks like he does take the bait. There, he takes the bait, and this is already SOS getting a win here. He's forcing an overreaction out of Cure. Cure checks the triangular third, now he checks the linear third base, now he does confirm, there is a base, and he should cancel. Yep, there's a cancellation, as we mentioned. So that was canceled as transition, but in the end, SOS, he got what he wanted in a sense. He forced some inefficiencies out of Cure. And we'll see if SOS can defend. Because at this point, Cure, now he has crosshairs on that expansion. Now, Cure did open up Widowmine, setting up towards a Widowmine drop, so he can't really achieve too much here, but he will catch the Adept. Ooh, nice catch. Very nice catch. Adept is going to go down. Rebrettles back in. Pokes in, gets behind the mineral line, and we'll confirm the tech. We'll confirm the additional gateway. Oh, it is going to be a robo opener out of SOS. I believe the robo is hidden at the natural. Yep, there it is. There's that robo. Robo openers, they allow you to make early immortals to be more defensive, but this feels a little bit unprompted here. Does SOS feel scared enough to make the immortal, or does it go immortal into prism to go for an early push? So eyes are on SOS to see if he does take up. I do see another gateway on the way, so we're getting up to early 3 gateways. That's very aggressive. We'll see if he goes for another gate, but I believe he has 3 so far. I do believe. What orange will get spotted. Here securing his natural. Additional max is on the way. And so as he shouldn't be able to intercept, we do see Curie immediately pivot around. He does pivot away towards the natural. SOS searching for the drop. But nice move by Curie. He does again deviate. He's going for that natural base. SOS does warp in, and he will intercept. Despite that, the line drop will continue. How many probe kills? Up! Ooh, 2. Yeah, 2 probes going down so far. There's still 2 shots left. We're coming in too soon. Oh my god. Jeez, calm down. Cuidado, papi, cuidado. As we do get a 3rd probe kill, and 2 would survive. So far, a solid start here for Cure. Meanwhile, extra warp-ins. We spoke earlier about the fact that there was a warp prism after the immortal. This is hyper-aggression out of SOS. He's pushing early on. He's pushing early. He can warp in 3 units at a time. SOS is very committed here. And we'll see if Kier can hold and survive. He's getting us, I believe, a 2nd bunker. Yeah, so he's just willing off with D-base. The white shot! Oh no! Oh, the retargeting! Ooh, gets a stalker. Very nice. Stalker goes down, Prism was idle, it does give Curie time to react, and Curie deflects. So far, so good. Curie's had a stronger start so far this game. He has his full wall at the natural. I think that SCV is stuck as well. Not again. The drop does get behind the middle line, but ooh, there is a Viking. Viking does take a shot to the face. Oh! Nice control by Cure. Pulls the Viking back. So far, it's going to be 3 SCV kills, and we have to recall. Does recall away. Does recall to safety. Mind Drop coming back in once again. Gets a shot off. Ooh, catching a 1 probe. Catching a 1 more probe here. Again, so far the Widowmine drop has been more than worth it. We have the follow-up Banshees as well. I believe Cloak was not researched. I don't think that's going to be factoring in here, but regardless, damage is still going to be done. Still finding damage, getting 1, 2, 3, getting up to 4. 3. Sorry, 4 in total. Oh my god. Never mind. 4 probes go down. Very nice damage here by Kier. The Banshee does survive and went behind a Dark Shrine. Oh, and it gets spotted as well. Question is, did Kier click on it? It looks like he did. You can see the production tab. He has a turret on the way. He has a missile dart in production, so it looks like he's aware of the Dark Templar. SOS he commits across the map once again. And Cure, for the most part, he's in the main base, not quite ready at the natural, but it can react. Does SOS commit? I mean, again, it's a very well position for SOS. Once again, we get another 4 probes. Oh my god, we just sacrificed the Banshee. Banshee is sacrificed, but again, it was worth it. In the end, 7 probe kills for 1 Banshee. Very well done, considering there was no investment to Cloak. True. Curie sneaks out with a drop, and SOS is hurting. SOS is hurting quite a bit. SOS, he does spot the attempted move outs. Will delay the CC. Curie hoping to distract. Remember, he does have that drop moving out across the map. So just hoping to distract SOS, keeping his attention. Shadow Stride is on the way. Sure, why not? Whatever you can get done. It's good at siege. Siege up. Black Wedge gets into the mineral line. Oh, he does force a recall. Not many worker kills, but again, he does force a recall, which means Curie does secure his base. And the medevac gets away. Oh my god. That should not have happened. Medevac does pull out. And Curie's looking solid. Looking good. He is ahead. From here, he can just build up into a 1-1. Ghost Academy's on the way for his Ghost production. There are no High Templar, there's no follow-up into Storm, but there's no Colossus either, so it's going to be perfectly fine. You can see here that, as I mentioned previously, SOS is very committed to this game. That's why his forges are so late. So he's going to have late upgrades, late forges. He's going to be behind in terms of the upgrade count and in terms of the tech. The game was not meant to last this long. And so far, at least the trajectory that things are going, the longer this goes on, the worse it is for SOS. Right now, the pressure's on SOS to find some damage. He's going to get into the natural, dive into the main base, get some kind of economic damage here. Or slow down Curie in some way. Oh. Gotta be careful. Does have to be careful. As Curie is moving out for another drop. Once again, he's now incorporating Ghost. If you're curious, like, Curie's ahead, why isn't he pushing? Well, he was waiting for Ghost, right? He was waiting for his Ghost production, so now he can have EMPs. Again, when it comes to SOS's army, he has no splash damage, right? He has no Colossus, he has no Storm, he has no Archons, he has no Disruptors. Like, there's just nothing here. It's very Immortal heavy, and even then, it's only 4 Immortals. It's just a very awkward composition that SOS is stuck with. And I say stuck with because, again, the goal for SOS was to break Cure earlier. He wanted to go for an earlier Immortal push. He wanted to go for an earlier all-in. And because he missed his timings and he missed his windows and he's been forced to recall and economic damage was done, so he was slowed down, like, just everything went south there for SOS. And that's why the build that he's been going for and relying on is looking as flimsy as it is. As Cure is maxed. Cure is maxed out. Does spot the army. Cure, he responds. Bunker goes down. Cure, he can engage. Oof. Tries to force some friendly fire. That's going to be 9 SCV kills. I mean, that is economic damage at least. Ooh, Prism goes out of the main. Cure defends, and now without a War Prism, Cure can focus on assaulting. He can focus on pushing. He can break out. Sims forward, he wants those Stalkers. Speaking of, he does get them. Yeah, 2 Stalkers do go down at the same time. Zealous, they do try to get a run by going. 12 SCV kills. Again, this is decent economic damage, but is it too late? Because we're waiting for the breakout. We're waiting for Cure to push. As Cure, he's had the superior army for quite some time, and if Cure waits too long, he will let SOS stabilize. Now, what's he stabilizing with? The Bay. The Bay just finished, so it looks like he wants to work towards Colossus. I mean, 1 Colossus isn't going to be an issue, but there's a second Robo on the way for double Colossus production or double Disruptor. At this stage of the game, because it's so late, I would want to see Disruptors, not Colossi. There's already Vikings, right? Like, there's already a Viking count. Nice cancellation. Denies the base. Does my expansion. Looks like Cure, he wants to wait for Liberators. I don't think we need to be this passive here. Again, Cure is ahead to the point where he can be more active, but he's just being very passive. I understand that he doesn't have map control, and he's a little bit concerned about Zealot roundbys and Zealot counterattacks, but especially once a planetary is done at the 4th base, like, we can push more freely here. There we go, first Disruptor's on the way. As you mentioned, Disruptor is like the only good option here for SOS because it's so late. Another base will fall. SOS going for the counterattack, pushing into tanks and Liberators. Oof, massive EMPs, catching other Stalkers. And again, SOS cannot push in, so now's the time to counterattack. I mean, we can you can keep going. The Cure. Yeah, he's just giving SOS more time, and now that SOS is incorporating some Disruptors, now he has a chance. He might be down in supply and down in army, but hey, if a couple of Novas connect, then SOS he can take a fight. As you can see, Curie refuses to push. I do think there were moments, especially after the failed like Zealot run on the top side. Now he has to wait for the Liberators, sort for the War Prisms to go down, to be dealt with. As we have double Prism towards the main. And now it's just moving in. He's moving into the main. Ooh, one Prism goes down, so will the other. A couple of Zealots do land. Ooh, and there's no Warp in. Yeah, no Warp in the main base. Now, once Cure deals with the Zealot run by, he should push. Even here, oh my god, massive EMPs. Yeah, massive EMPs. The army did a move in, a little bit too much. And now we need a couple. Let's go. Send it. Cure, you just took down 2 Immortals. Keep going. There's literally nothing that can stop you. There's been nothing that can stop you for like 5 minutes, Cure. Keep going. God damn it. Have some confidence, Pappy. Have some confidence. So it looks like Cure wants to stay at home until he perfects his army. Again, the only reason that Cure would or should stay home is if he didn't kill the prisms, but he killed 2. He killed 2 War Prisms, so there's no backstab. There's no backstab available. I mean, SOS is giving Cure what he wants. He's pushing into the sieged army. But Cure, we can be active. Believe in yourself. Another Prism into the main. Another Prism moves in. Prism goes down. 1 Viking lands. Once again, SOS just throwing away Prisms. Throwing away supply. We get a big rotation to the top side. Cure is ready for it. Oh. Nice focus firing here on top of the Ghost. Ghost does fall. We'll have to replace that Ghost. Cure pushing into Novas. Gotta be careful. Does get 1 Disruptor and an Immortal and 2 Disruptors. Oh my god, where are the Novas? Where are the Novas? 3 Disruptors go down. Not a single Nova goes off, and finally Cure pushes. Again, we could have done this 6 minutes ago, but sure. Cure is pushing out. At the same time, SOS commits into the mineral line. He does get 1 Liberators. Tank shots into the mineral line and does force a bit of friendly fire. Ooh, yeah, and we just commit to the base trade. We're committing to the base trade here. SOS knows he cannot fight Cure's main army. Does catch 3 idle Liberators. Yeah, Liberators are on their own. Some messy defense here from Cure. Cure commits. And again, this is the only chance here for SOS, is the base trade, catching out another Liberator. Once again, Cure is going to stabilize back at home. We need a setup. As he fails to defend his planetary. Yeah, Cure, he needed to siege up here at the planetary and he would lose it. Yeah, he will lose it. He was late to do so. SOS breaks the base. At the same time, Cure is yet to go into the main. Okay, Cure sets up top right. Siege up top right and his main expansion. Cure is going to push into the main base and then cap off the production. He's going for the fringe expansions. Yeah, he's going for the fringe bases. He's leaving the main alone. Liberators they do fall. Mass Stalkers they just break this position. Now in the head-on fights, we still do favor Cure. Cure still has a better army. But we got Disruptors though. We got the Novas. Oh, Maestro goes up. Purification Novas, they do try to connect. Oh, very nice connections on the Ghost, but everything crumbles. GG. GG gets called, and Cure, he will take game number 1. GG. Whew. GG, well played. Again, Cure at any moment for those past like 7-8 minutes would win a head-on collision, a head-on fight, as you saw towards the end there as well, with him fighting with only half his army. But Cure, he was so careful and so defensive and so passive, I would say, to the extreme. There were definitely a lot of moments there where Cure, say, when he killed both War Prisms, right? When he killed both War Prisms, when he deflected the attack, there are moments like that where there's no reason to stay home, right? There's no way to counterattack because you just killed 2 War Prisms, you just deflected against the attempted aggression. That would be the time to break out, to push, and to knock down bases. Like, there were definitely earlier opportunities to be aggressive, but Cure was, again, being very, very safe and overly safe. I would say that, I mean, you know, hindsight's 2020. In a position like this, if you're SOS, and we'll see if he does pick up on this, if he does recognize, hold up, my opponent's being hyper defensive and hyper careful and hyper safe, I could get away with taking up. I could get away with being greedier and trying to rush into like Skytils, for example. If that game SOS threw down the Fleet Beacon and 2-3 Stargates, Cure wouldn't stop him, right? Cure wouldn't stop him, Cure wouldn't stand in his way, Cure'd be busy defending back at home, and there's potential to get away with something like that. So there are ways to punish a player that's overly defensive in TvP. But let's go. Spawning in the bottom right hand corner, we have SOS for Streamer Zone. And top left, we have Cure for Team Liquid. As we're just cheesing, okay. So we're going for a proxy. SOS does move out. Shout out to Intel, of course, for being the main sponsor of GSL this season. These past 2 seasons even. Big shout outs. But here we go, moving out with our probes. Piling has been thrown down. It goes in for the scouts, and we're setting up for the proxy gateways. Now, how many gateways is the big question? How hard does SOS commit? Do we go up to 2 gates? Do we go into something more committed? For now, only 1. Okay. Only 1 gateway. You can see the probe coming back home. So very light commitment here from SOS. With this, he can try and delay the CC, but it's a double gas opener. Ooh, double gas opener by Cure. Faster factory, delayed command center. He's going for a safer start. A safer and more tech-heavy build out of Cure. So that's a little bit concerning. A little bit. So players are going to be opening up. Again, we're going to be opening up here. We do have our first Zealot being created as we speak. Now, again, the goal of this Zealot is to delay the CC. And there's a very high chance that Cure will go for a later CC on the low ground. Remember, it's going to be a command center after the factory. But because of the factory, Cure is going to have a stronger counterattack. That's what's concerning, right? We have a production building in the middle of nowhere. Won't help too much defensively. So we'll see how this all comes together. You can see that SOS does hide his Zealot, does keep it hidden from the initial Reaper. The Reaper, I believe, will not scout the proxy. Yep, it's off by the wayside. And Cure's going for the high ground CC. No shot. Yeah, Cure gets across the map as Zealot is revealed. Cure's setting up with the bunker. Boys are being pulled to repair. There's the recall as well. And we'll force Stalker to recall back home. The Reaper does not get away. Very nice pickup. Yeah, Curie does slip up. Does recognize he does not need the bunker. So again, a very messy defense here by Curie. Yeah, they're pointing out that the Reaper did fall. Nice on Burrow. Doesn't waste the shot. Stalker's reinforcing. And SOS is expanding behind this. He does expand. As I mentioned previously, with a faster factory, I was assuming it was going to be a faster Cyclone. Tech Lab is on the way, so it's working towards that Cyclone. Oh, it doesn't spend the Might on the Zealot. Interesting. Yeah, it doesn't want to waste on the Zealot. Once again, the Widowmine is going to go down, though. Zealot will survive. Remember, Curie chose not to get a bunker. He chose to cancel. And he's being punished for it here. Yeah, losing extra Marines. A messier defense. And Cure, he will still hold, but yeah, at least SOS is getting some value here. Back at it once again, a robot opener, just like last time. I'm still not too fond of this, but it's going to be Robo into Immortal into Prism again, I'm assuming. It is a relatively safe way to play, but as we saw in the last game, it just leads you into a really awkward mid-game, just because this eventually turns into an all-in, and if you miss your timing, if you miss the all-in, then it all falls apart. This is one of the reasons why Cure was so comfortable last game, and why he was under no real danger. Cure does scout the proxy. He ignores it. Keeps going. There are 2 Stalkers, I believe, to defend. There might be 3. 3, okay. Yeah, 3 Stalkers. One of them is low. Massive shot. Oh no, he turns around. Oh my god. That was very risky. Medevac barely gets away and he has to get out of here. Oof. Very nice interception. Medevac goes down. Massive pickup. Cure, he at least does trade. But again, messy early game here from Cure. Oof, as he will lose a Cyclone. Cyclone goes down. Marines go down. SOS is overwhelming. Cure, he's going for a reactive bunker. The bunker is late. Again, this early game has been very messy for Cure. Okay, but there's a second tank. Second tank has arrived. Oof. Does somewhat punish. And Cure's stuck at home. Now, I can see a world where, I can already see it, where this game turns out just like the last one, in the sense that Cure, because he's had such a shaky early game, he's just going to turtle up. He's just going to turtle up as hard as he can and slowly get a 3rd, get a 4th, get a 5th base, max out, stay maxed until SOS takes like a bad fight like 3 times. I can see that being the trajectory here of this game. We'll see how SOS changes though. SOS is going for a drop, that is true, but SOS is getting a 3rd base, is going for a Twilight Council. I like the idea of SOS being greedy after this. Of course, there's still harass coming out from Cure, but we'll see what SOS gets into. As SOS does drop into the mineral line, catching out 3 SCVs. Not bad. Let's catch 3 workers, we'll pull away. Does pull away, keeping the drop up, keeping Cure distracted. Also, I should mention as well that SOS this time has retained his economy. Last game, SOS was losing so many workers to the Woodermine drop, to the Banshee harass, to the Marine drop as well. Like, that all added into why game 1 was so brutal. So I should also emphasize that as well, is that there's a reason why SOS was missing his timings, and we did mention that during the game itself. It was all that damage dealt early on. Banshee gets 1 probe. Oh. Yeah, just 1 probe. Massive pickup here as the Banshee goes down. Again, curious early game here is, I mean, we've been saying it's been very messy. It's been very messy. And Curious stuck at home. Stuck at him defending and turtling. And SOS has to make a choice here. Does he try to all in and break Cure while he tries to expand, or do we try to get further ahead? Like, I want to see SOS be greedier and get further ahead instead. Right now, Cure's already forced a turtle, so I don't think there's much of a reason to try to break that turtling Terran player. There's a lot more that we can try to get away with. But it's on SOS. SOS confirms a 3rd CC. Ooh, massive gateway explosion. Does take his gases though at his 3rd. That's indicative of a 4th base. Typically. SOS is getting ready for his own drop outside of the natural. Can he just set up here outside of the bases? Dropping into the natural base. Hey, he's going to find some damage. Delay some mining. Does laser mining time. So that's what he brings everything together. Once again, no splash damage, but he does have the high immortal count. He can try to dive in with zealots as well, but I feel like it'd be ill-advised to try to push our way into this 3-base setup. And now we're backing off. And again, I stand by what I said earlier. I feel like SOS can be greedy here, so he is somewhat more so than last time. So he's getting his 4th, now getting a 5th base as well. He's taking over the entire map. I believe currently he only has 1 forge. Like, we can once again get away with double forge at this point. Like double forge, double upgrades, throw down the Templar Archives, get into Storm, or throw down additional robots for disruptors. I'm still not opposed to the Fleet Beacon, but instead looks like SOS wants to commit. Okay, never mind. He's going for it. Yeah, he warps in additional units. Gets an Archon. SOS is pushing into a concave. And massive armor shot here on the main army. Now armor shot goes off as Zealots are going down. Oof, and SOS, he does not break through. Not yet. He did break through some tanks though. A couple of tanks did go down. It looks like SOS, he doesn't want to turn around. He's going to keep going. Oof. EMP connects. Oof. EMP's connecting. He blindly made all these Vikings and he might catch the prison, but not yet. Does not keep pushing. So far, is holding on. And I would say these trades so far have been worth it. They have been worth it here. Like SOS, sure, he bled out mainly Zealots and mainly Gateway units for tanks. Yeah, that's not bad. The Bay in production, the Bay +3, +1 armor. That's what's building up his economy. But still sticking with a ground focus army. It's still very similar to last game. I would say that SOS is taking up faster compared to last game. That is true. It is a faster attack, but still in the same direction. The end goal seems unchanged. So SOS tries to find a way in. Diving into the freedom zones. That's a little freedom. That's a little liberators. They punish so hard. Oh god. These were expensive losses here. The Zealots, they survived. The Stalkers got focused on instead. Ay. Remember what I said at the start of this game? How I was like, hey, I would want to see SOS be greedy and go into Sky Toss because Cure wouldn't push. Well, Cure isn't pushing and SOS is not taking. But again, just like as a meta conversation, that's how you would punish a player like this. If you're up against a Terran player that is just purely turtling up, then hey, throw in a Fleet Beacon, through 3 Stargates, build up into Tempest production, use Tempest to help you break these siege positions, and also, of course, take over the map. Now, at least SOS is more or less taking over the map, that is true. But he's still playing Cure's game. And that's not changing. We have more Robos on the way, Dark Shrine as well. So SOS is still committing to a ground focused army despite the fact that Cure is going mass tank ghost liberator. Ay. So it feels like SOS is just tunnel visioning a little bit too much here. Cure's doing everything correctly. The one thing that Cure has to do is periodically scan across the map to make sure there is no Skytoss transition. Just every now and then, just check. John does move in. And this is going to be the big moment here for SOS as we try to expand here on the low ground. Oh my god, massive armor shred. Army force mag, Nova goes off. Does not connect. Jesus. Liberation zones are popping up. But I spoke about this is SOS's moment here. Kira's taking a 5th base. Now, notoriously, the 5th expansion on Winter Madness is very difficult to defend. Your initial 4-base setup is very easy and very secure, so that's why SOS has had a hard time pushing in. But the 5th base is on the low ground, and there's multiple angles of attack. So that 5th base should be the next big target. We can see SOS pushing towards the 3rd. Does get 1, does get 2 Liberators, may get 3. Yeah, 3 Liberators go down, Army comes in from behind, and we're punishing the Stalkers. Now we can just stim. Yeah, we can chase. There's nothing to stop Kira. There's no disruptors. Ideally, you have disruptors to zone away the army to allow for an escape. But Kira, he can just chase. Yeah, he can just keep on chasing. He wants the Immortals, and he's going to get them. Massive EMP, gets 1, gets 2, gets all 3. Yeah, takes down 3 Immortals. SOS plummets in supply. Get a very rough fight here. As we were trying to emphasize, the next target should be the 5th base, but he pushed into the 3rd, into Liberation Zone as well. And he lost everything. He lost everything, and now he's switching into Colossi. Oof. Now, the plus side of going to Colossus at this moment is that he lost his Vikings and he's not replacing them. So the Viking count is low. That is true, but there are still plenty of Liberators. But there is like reasoning behind going into Colossus at the moment, just because there are no Vikings. We'll see if they can work out though, if they do work out. SOS moves into the 3rd once again, and will kill a CC. Command center does go down. Colossi are amassing. We're building up to 4 Colossi. Okay. Okay. Kira, he's done the most difficult part of Winter Madness. He defended the 5th. He's defended the 5th base. EMPs do connect. Now it's pushing into the bases. Expansions will go down. SOS will defend, actually. Defends that northern base. We bring this up all the time when it comes to this kind of scenario here, but SOS did slip up in the sense that he should have prioritized saturation on this expansion. He hasn't taken that many resources away from Cure. Not that many. Oh, as the Colossi are exposed. Yeah, the Colossi are exposed. They gotta back off. Viking production has begun. Oh, Cure, he does leave the army idle here. He's going to bleed out a little supply. Yeah, miscontrol of the Cure. He's distracted. He's diving the Colossus. Oh no, in the middle. Oh my god, does he get any? 2 Colossus left. Did 2 go down? 2 Colossi may have gone down. The Observer was not quite looking. Another Colossus falls. Massive pickoffs. Security may have lost his army on the top side, but it was worth it. He was able to snipe 3 Colossi. I believe it was 3. Might have been 2. But once again, heavy losses for SOS. Stalkers, they blink in. SOS coming in from behind. And he doesn't have enough. Yeah, SOS, he does not have enough to really break through this, to assault the main army, to defend. SOS bleeds out almost everything. And Curry, he will start knocking down these bases. ICP. He goes off. goes off. SOS commits into the Liberators. He'll lose every single Colossus. The Vikings, they pop up. Takes down the Claw, takes down the entire army. Actually, he just throws everything away. The Zealots, the Immortals, the Colossi. One Stalker survives. And now these bases belong to Cure. This is why it's important to saturate these bases earlier and faster to make sure that you can take away resources away from Cure. That was not the case. That was the case here in the center base, but the Fringe expansion is lesser. So Cure breaks out, and once again, just like game one, Cure, he was under no real danger once we got into the mid game. When it came to the early game, it was a little bit different. When we saw like the early Immortal push from SOS, like there was definitely potential there. But the moment that failed, like we had to start taking it and expanding. And as you mentioned, like SOS did. As I mentioned, it did feel like SOS, he was very much so tunnel visioning. And now the best chance scenario here for SOS, just like last time, is base trade. And you can see Cure turn around. Yeah, Cure does turn around. DTs are hit the northern base, and they will get the planetary. Oh, mass repair though. Oh, is it gonna be enough? Can he save it? Ah, he can. Planetary survives. The Liberation is back at home. And Cure, he defends and he attacks. Oh, there's a recall. There's a recall back home. Cure, he respects it. Ooh, the Colossus, they're left idle. Yeah, an attentive there from SOS to an attentive, leading out with 2 Colossus. Drew moves in. Does move in, knocking down to the base. At the same time, once again, SOS goes to the base trade. Once again, SOS can never fight the main army. Just cannot happen. Liberation has arrived back at home. Planetary will go down and GG. GG gets called. Cure, he overwhelms across the map, and Cure, he will claim the series 2-0, advancing on to the winners match. GG. Whew. GG, well played. Cure, he will advance on. SOS, he had an interesting showing here, winding it back. If you recall, I was curious how SOS is going to perform. In recent years, he's been very, I would say, more standard than anything, and we saw that here as well, where SOS, he had some unique openers, is what I will say. He had some unique openers. He kept going Robo. He kept going Robo as an opener every single game, and it would lead into these early Immortal timings, but he never really committed to them. So in the end, he would fall behind, like tech-wise specifically. He would fall behind tech-wise. He'd be later he'd be delayed when it came to going into Blink or Charge or any kind of splash damage. He was stuck with his Immortal heavy composition, and he never got to make use of it. There's a reason why this build is not really seen anywhere else. Like SOS, he's the only player that's been relying on it here, and for good reason, like others don't. It does give some aggressive options earlier, but we didn't see that come into play. GG. GG, well played with that. Cure does advance on into the winners match, and up next we have a TvZ between Bjorn and Shin. Ooh, we'll see you soon for our next matchup. See you soon. See you soon.